My name's Wyatt McWilliams. I'm a resident of Navan here. The Navan community is showing off their community spirit and having a parade called Parading Through Time to celebrate the Canada 150 and show our Canadian spirit. On the same note, it's a lot of good friends and family and lots of fun is going to happen tonight. As far as farming, it's in our blood, and I've got a lot of good family, good friends, and that's how we get little things like this parade done. Is I call a couple of good friends and a couple of good friends, and they don't know enough to say no yet. And again, I can't thank everybody enough, the family and friends. And it's a great community.
If you would have had your other amp, you would have been fine.
Actually, should have left them. I should have set up the trainer and those two speakers. Yep, they're there. I just wanted to turn the music off so you could hear the band.
Oh yeah, I'm on the break coming through.
Well, good evening, everyone. I'm glad everybody can make it out. We've got great weather. I'm Rob Snow from 580 CFRA, and my co-host is Carson Hill. Good to see you, Carson, and it's great to be here.
Great to be here, Rob, and we're going to give you the play-by-play here, ladies and gentlemen, of this wonderful parade that the Navan neighborhood has put together celebrating our 150th anniversary year here. It's the old and the new, so you'll see this as it comes along here, the old and new. I just going through our program here, Rob, and I would say there's probably about 75 to 100 different floats and all sorts of things to see here going by us here just in a very few moments.
You're hearing now members of the RCMP pipe band, and soon one of the pipers is going to come up here and get the evening going with our national anthem. And thank you to our sponsor, the Myers Automotive Group, the Navan Community Association. The theme tonight is Parading Through Time. Big round of applause for the RCMP pipe band.
Going for a beer here, yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, at this time we'd like to call on Brad Hampson. He is going to sing the national anthem, so we ask you to please rise and welcome Brad Hampson.
Oh, Canada, our home and native land, true patriot love, in all thy sons' command, car brasse porter le pays, il s'est porté la croix. Ton histoire est une épopée de plus brillants exploits. God keep our land glorious and free. Oh, Canada, we stand on guard for thee. Oh, Canada, we stand on guard for thee.
Thank you very much, Brad. We do appreciate that, Mr. Brad Hampson, with the RCMP Pipe Band and the Ottawa Police.
You're very persistent.
Up next, we have a parade of flag sponsors, including the Canada 150 flag, the logo composed of a series of diamonds arranged in the shape of a maple. 4 diamonds at the base represent the 4 provinces that formed Confederation in 1867. Additional diamonds extend out from the base to create 9 more points. In total, 13 representing the provinces and the territories. In addition to that, there's the Canadian Red Ensign, used from 1871 to 1965. It was officially lowered for the last time, back in February of 1965. It bears the Union Jack in the upper left corner and the shield of the Royal Arms of Canada in the fly. Of course, you have the maple leaf. The present Canadian maple leaf, proclaimed by Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II, was raised for the first time at noon, February 15, 1965. The Ontario flag and the Ottawa flag, which was created in 2001, shortly after amalgamation. The flags are being carried by local residents, members of the Navan Lions Club, and thank you to the Lions Club. Carson, it doesn't matter where you go, from one end of the region to the other, there are always volunteers from the Lions Club.
That's right. Just past us to our right here, we have the beautiful carriage owned by Don Smith and carrying our mayor, the Honorable Jim Watson, and City Councillor Stephen Blah, with local MP Andrew Leslie in the golf cart. Thank you once again to the City of Ottawa for supporting our parade.
We're going from horsepower to antique tractors to the modern, so and not just with the agriculture equipment. We're going to do the first responders too, with the fire steamer and the older fire truck and a newer fire truck, a paddy wagon. It's kind of a variety of stuff. We have a stagecoach coming, and we've got the oxen here from Upper Canada Village. A little bit of a variety of stuff, but and some old cars and some new pickups and older trucks. Again, kind of the past to the present, and not the whole 150 years, but might be the last time I'll be celebrating. I won't be here for the 200s, so.
So now you see a stagecoach, horse-drawn stagecoach, and a team of Belgians, and they are owned by Len McFadden. Smiths Falls is carrying the East Region Clydesdale Association Queen, and John Barrett, NHL alumni.
Good to see Johnny Barrett. He hasn't been up that high for a long time. Beautiful, beautiful. Good to see you, John. And of course, Len McFadden, all the way from Smith Falls. I was in Metcalf this morning, and the stagecoach was going through town. I thought, wow, I'm getting excited to get to Navan because I knew exactly where it was going.
This is the Navan Fair Directors Parade, the Fair President's Float. Great to see all the folks who are volunteering with the Navan Fair. The tractor owned by Mario Sanguini is a 1959 Hot Shunt 550, bought from Norn Garvin, believed to be come originally from the Sharp Farm on Frank Kenny Road. And the wagon is Gib Patterson's wagon in honor of the current president, directors, past presidents of the Cumberland Township Agricultural Society, one of the event's partners.
Okay, and the next one right here is the famous, just hold it up a little bit there, Willard, if you will. We want to talk a little bit about this. Is the famous 50-horse hitch, the world's record holding here. This is the original wagon.
Drop it down each side. Tell them to keep it moving.
Now that was not to get in the Guinness Book of World Records, but it was the 50th anniversary of the Navan Fair, so we wanted to do something unique. We actually hitched 50 Clydesdales to one wagon and parade through the village of Navan or down the main street. And BBC came over and filmed it. It was 12 times 4 and 2 up front and 1 driver. And again, that was a thrill of a life.
50-horse hitch wagon representing the Eastern Regional Clydesdale Association. Mr. Willard McWilliams remade this cargo wagon with him driving, and the Clydesdale horses with Wyatt McWilliams, his son, and Andrew Sangster on top. Give them a big round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. These guys are instrumental in putting this parade on here once again. Okay, and
A 2-horse hitch here. Representing the Eastern Region Belgian, the Horse Association team of John McWilliams. Now look at these beautiful horses here, Carson. These are gorgeous.
yes, I'll speak of these here a little bit. These are neighbors of mine. The four-horse hitch of Percheron, representing the Percheron Horse Association. And the horses and wagon are presented today by Greg Furbanon, ladies and gentlemen, from Metcalf, Ontario. Very pleased, these people with their 6-horse hitch and 2, 4, and 6 are one of the premier exhibitors up and down Eastern Ontario and Western Quebec, and they have more red ribbons than you can shake a stick at.
Parading through time here in Navan. One of our event sponsors is Soundtrack. The tractor is a Soundtrack major parade sponsor. Michael Hurley representing Ireland, Ambassador to Canada. Jim Kelly on Dan McNeely's wagon celebrating the Navan to Navan twinning in Navan, Ireland. And we're also remembering a great man, Paddy Pryle from Navan, Ireland, who would have been here but passed away suddenly in St. John's, Newfoundland, just this past Wednesday. And he had wanted to commemorate the Irish immigrants' struggle at Grosse Isle.
Sure. Coming up next here, Rob, we have transporting people, the old horse and buggy. This is Dave Spence with his 1890 McLaughlin buggy being pulled by John McWilliams, Belgian, representing the Belgian Association, the McLaughlin buggy, one of the oldest carriage companies in Canada.
Up next, we have a covered wagon, Wyatt McWilliams' wagon, and Wayne Dunning driving his own team of horses.
On the old chuck wagon. Sure, give them a hand, folks. These people have spent a lot of time and effort to come from right across the Ottawa Valley here to be here today, bring their horses and wagons and buggies out.
Parading through time, taking you back to 1924. This is a 1924 Packard owned by Ross Nichols. Now this looks like, what do we have here? I think this is a Meteor. Is this not this is a Meteor. This is 10E.
We do apologize for some of these.
1951 Meteor. The Miller family. Looking great. Looks like it just rolled off Myers' lot.
Now this one is 10.
This is a 1959 Oldsmobile. That looks great. The LaRose family, 1959 Olds.
Oh boy, and Rob, this takes me back.
You'd look good in that, Carson.
Yes, I can remember a buddy of mine got a brand new one when I was about, that year I was about 19 years old. And those Mustangs come out, boy, they were classic. Andy LaClasse with his 1966 Ford Mustang.
How you frame it?
10H is a
Good, that way, 'cause then I
1967
get it today.
Chrysler New Yorker Ken Ekdahl behind the wheel.
Boy, some of these cars weren't they great, eh? And this is 10i, 1969 Ford by the Krieger family.
And then we have this. Long before we had a carbon tax, we had a 1973 Chevy Impala. And this one is beautiful. And it's driven by Sylvain Tassé, Marcel Tass.
And today it's driven by his son, Sylvain. And the car was bought brand new, and they've kept it in the family ever since.
Wow.
Just had an antidote there. Somebody handed me a note. Now, we're going to take some time here. Let you do that, Rob, here. This is taking us back in the history of bicycles.
And we have 11A. Who was 11A down there?
11A, put your hand up, will you? That's the stuff. Well, I'll do it here. This is Cecil McFadden's 1942 Red Rock, restored by his family. He rode from Navan to Ottawa to work in town weekdays and back to the farm on the weekends. The bike's last trip to Ottawa was when Cecil enlisted. He served in World War II, and he was killed in action in 1945 at the age of 22 and rests in Rosebank War Cemetery, the Netherlands.
Fred Hyde is riding a World War II German folding bicycle, as it would have been carried by a paratrooper at the time.
11C is Barbara Allen's ladies' bicycle. Where are you, Barbara? Atta girl. Ladies' bicycle from the 1950s. This is a typical English bicycle from 60 years ago. Heavy steel frame, 3-speed Sturmey arched hub gears, and with basket on the handlebars. It has recently been restored by Richard Allen, who maintains the gears still work. There you go. Glad to have you aboard, Barbara.
11B is Albert Peters' recumbent three-wheeler. Purchased this 2 years ago so he could continue cycling. Being Dutch, he says he just has to have a bicycle. It's an interesting machine, but quote, quite slow.
Next one, 11E. Who's 11E? Where are we here? Oh, they don't want to say who they are. Two bicycles from the 1970s belonging to Alan White and John Bishop. Typical of the time, 10 speeds, drop handlebars, steel frame, heavy by today's standards.
Mark O'Donoghue's early 2000s tandem, very well constructed bicycle from Roland. We have David and Rachel Grattan's Giants, Chinese-made aluminum alloy framed bicycles, light and very well built.
Well, moving right along
Thank
here.
you, everyone.
Thank you. That's a really good bicycle exhibit, folks.
Trip back in time here, Carson.
Trip back in time, yes. Here we have, ladies and gentlemen, all the way from Upper Canada Village, here tonight at Navan, is the ever infamous oxen team and cart. Don't forget, ladies and gentlemen, to visit Upper Canada Village. I've been there many, many times, and I'm going to go back again and again, and every time I go, I get more of a history lesson each and every time. Give the fellas a big round of applause, if you will. The oxen team and cart from Upper Canada Village and the two sheep and lambs coming on behind.
Now here we have a Model A grain bags truck, right?
Yep.
Grain bags truck. John Gertan.
Model A, about a 19, I'm guessing here, about a 1918 or about that time. That's your first attempt of a pickup.
This is a 1953 Massey Harris 30 with a 1950 milk trailer owned by Paul Bourbonnais.
Paul Bourbonnais and family have been the Massey dealership. Now Massey Ferguson down at the next town, Rob, just east of here, for many, many years. So they always help out here, and they're the local machine dealer just at the next town east of here in downtown Sarsfield.
And here we have another 1946 Chevrolet Maple Leaf 2.5-ton grain truck. John Manon, originally owned by George Small from Keys, Manitoba. Original paint and bought from the estate back in 2014. The original paint. Look at that.
Wow, hoist it all on it. Leave it to John Manon. Take a look. Very nice entry here, John and Francis. Thank you so much for coming out. Look at there. And you thought we just made dump trucks last week.
Can't say enough about the Myers Automotive Group. This parade and the dance tonight, of course, would not be happening without the great folks in the community commitment of our big sponsor, the Myers Automotive Group. And those are some beautiful trucks right there from Myers Automotive Group, the GM and the Dodge.
And as we're moving along here, don't forget, ladies and gentlemen, as Rob touched on it there, there's a big dance with Ambush playing over here, and it's all free tonight under the folk domes in the fairgrounds. So don't forget a big wide open dance tonight, right after starting, I believe, at 9 o'clock or thereabout. And now here we have McFadden's Custom Harvesting. What number are we here?
We're on number 16 now, Carson. This is a 2006 Kenworth T800, and the trailer is a recent trim.
Showing the old and the new, ladies and gentlemen. That's how all the modern cash-crop farmers get their crops to market. Now, ladies and gentlemen, Lot number 17 here. We can't say enough about this great family company. The M.L. Bradley new school bus. Brand new school bus with a banner showing some vintage buses on the side. M.L. Bradley Limited has been offering safe transportation from the Navan and surrounding communities for 52 years.
52 years.
This family-owned and operating business began as the J.T. Bradley and Sons Community Corner Store, right where we are. Student transportation became a part of their services literally before school buses existed in this area. As the store was already delivering goods to people across rural Ottawa, the first MLB riders were safely transported to and from school in the family car or J.T. Bradley's milk truck, as transportation requirements began to exceed the seating capacity of these vehicles. The Bradley family expanded to create a separate business that focused exclusively on the safety and efficient transportation of community children. Founded by Morris Lauren Bradley in 1965, M.L. Bradley has grown from driving kids on milk trucks to operating over 120 vehicles and being a workplace for over 130 dedicated employees. Since Lauren's passing in December of 1991, the company has been owned and operated by his daughter Kathleen, son-in-law Gord, and grandson Andrew. M.L. Bradley is proud to be a part of a family and community organization and hopes to continue serving the community to those same high standards for the next 50 years.
Great stuff. Parading through time, here we have a horse-drawn steamer, horse-drawn Silsby steamer. It was purchased for $500 back in 1983. Since the 50s, it sat outside a number of Ottawa eateries in pretty dismal shape. The steamer had been stationed in Ottawa briefly in 1915 before being sent to Russell in May of that year to assist in putting out a fire that threatened to raze the entire village.
Engine at this time was in Ottawa, and it was on loan from the company that made them. And so when they heard that they had a fire down there, Ottawa sent this fire engine, put it on a train, and sent it down to Russell. And Russell used it, and it was really the thing that saved the town from spreading fire. For motion, you need the horses to bring it, and it's pretty well steam for making streams. You can put out 2 full streams with the bigger hose. It originally came from Detroit. They traded it in for a new motorized engine, fire engine, and left it there at the company.
The brigade often lends this steamer to Russell for their annual heritage celebration. Over the years, the brigade has invested considerable money and time restoring this historical piece, a project that is still ongoing. And you can see it as well at the Gloucester Parade of Lights, the Help Santa Toy Parade, and the Gloucester Parade of Lights and the Help Santa Toy Parade in downtown Ottawa. Silsby steamer.
Just to show you the different history of firefighting. And of course, number 22, we have a new fire truck of Ottawa's finest fleets with our firefighters aboard. I'd just like to talk about the one coming up behind here, ladies and gentlemen, the patrol wagon here. That is number 25. And this comes from the Ottawa Police Association, paddy wagon.
And this is a paddy wagon.
That's a paddy wagon.
If you ever wanted to know what a paddy wagon looks like, that's what it looks like right there.
If you were a bad boy or girl, this is how they took you to jail. And this is drawn by Mark Hamilton with his Clydesdale, beautiful Clydesdale horse here, drawing the paddy wagon number 25. Thanks so much, Mark. A really lovely exhibit here.
Well, this is like watching an episode of MASH right here. This is a Jeep from the Korean War, 1952 John Williams Army Jeep.
And then we have, ladies and gentlemen, lot number 27. Number 27, of course, we have a modern hearse from the Heritage Funeral Home people, a major sponsor. The Heritage Funeral Home people, we were hoping to have a horse-drawn hearse tonight, but the man was unable to make it out here tonight. I think the horses ran away and he didn't want to get the horse broke up. Or get the hearse broke up, I should say. Now here's an interesting piece coming here now. We talk about road construction and how they used to do it before the big graders and plows and what you have. This is lot number 28. This is an old horse-drawn grader owned by Willard McWilliams, and it's driven by Ron McMillan with his purse friends. We thank him very much. Ron McMillan and Bertram, that is a horse-drawn grader before they had the motorized.
Now here we have, you may have to help me out with some of the pronunciation here. Frank Versteeg's 1946 Alles Chalmers. WC Patrol Grader. There are only about 3,000 of these built, and he bought it in Lefebvre, Ontario. And he's been restoring it ever since.
And he found the word Ottawa stamped on the steel. So we think it was used, it's a farm tractor, but it was made especially for road grading.
Number 31. Riding on Roy Shear's Adam Haywagon circa 1900 is Ottawa Carleton's Queen of the Furrow, Cassidy Rainey, in her second year. The walking plow is Roy Shear's, and it is a 1951 frosted wood. 1909 to 1916. And Francis cut a deal with Harry Cuckshut, and the plow sold for $15 and $17. Don Smith's Salty plow is also a frosted wood 1940, both made in Smiths Falls. That company closed in 1955, putting 400 employees out of work.
And one thing, Rob, it's not your fault. Some people change things up a little bit. That is not Cassidy Rainey, and she is not the Carleton Queen of the Furrow.
Okay.
That lady has been to many plowing matches, but she's a little more than 18. So I'm just not sure who that lady is there, but we do apologize. She is a lovely lady on Roy Shear's Adam Haywagon.
Marvin Antoine and his team of Percherons pulling a 1932 McCormack Deering riding plow.
Here, Marvin.
Yes, that's right, 32, Marvin Antoine with his Percherons. Now, here we have, coming right here, lot number 33, we have an antique tractor, 1949, Massey Harris 22 plow, driven by Jean-Marc Descent. And boy, do I ever have some memories about a 22 Massey. I have one at home. When I was 12 years old, I went back to get a dozen eggs with a tractor just like this. Turned a Huey on the road. When I knew what happened, I was upside down on the sidewalk. I was laying my back on the lawn. Boy, did I get hanged from my dad when I had to tell him he was turned upside down, right side up again.
Parading through time, number 35, Luke Dutrasac. 2012 Case IH Magnum 290 horsepower tractor with a 5-furrow 14-inch to 22-inch, adjustable from 5 to 9 feet wide, and a Keverland rollover plow.
Showing the new. They just had the old plow going through, and here they've got the new one. We have a Ford 4000, 1972, with a 3-point-inch cultivator on, owned by Doug and Sherry Woodburn. Glad to have you aboard, folks. Just to show you the different tractors and equipment in time. We move along here.
Number 38 is a John Deere 8450, model year 1982, with a 30-foot cultivator. The tractor is owned by Martin Tuners of Navan, bought used from Western Canada.
That's just some of the big equipment that's used nowadays compared to the old. So the old and the new. The title of our parade here is Parading Through Time. How things have changed in this country of ours in agriculture in the last 150 years. I think this is 30EB. This is a modern tractor with cultivator of 310 horsepower with 43-foot disc. These guys with equipment have just finished their cropping. It's what, a year to get it in. It's most of everybody is done now and getting into the hay, but so this machine has probably just left the field within the last 2 or 3 days. This is driven by Mike Summers for LaPlante Farms Incorporated of Sarsfield. We thank you for bringing your equipment out here, ladies and gentlemen. And then we go back, Rob, here you can talk about this old cedar.
I believe this is a horse-drawn, you correct me, but I believe this is a horse-drawn wagon cultivator. Is that what that looks like?
No, that is the
What number is that? What number is
Are
that?
you number 39?
39, yeah.
It's a horse-drawn seed drill. This, Rob, is
Horse-drawn seed drill.
Yeah, this is how they seeded the land years ago, put their oats or barley or grain in there, and they walked behind and they dropped the seed drill down, and that's how they seeded there, and the farmer walked behind. This is 100 years or more, and this is and his team of Clydesdale here across is Brian McIntosh.
And here we have an old tractor, an old seed drill. Dennis Bourbonnais, 1959 Ferguson 40, and 1959 Massey Ferguson 33 seed drill.
So you see how the drills, these seed drills, change from the horse draw and Rob far right to 1959. This is in 50 years how they have progressed in time. And now, here we're right up to date. So we have the older, and then of course we have the brand new. Here we have 48. Is from Cloverhurst Farm, the 2006 John Deere 7920 tractor and a 20-foot no-till seed drill. It plants small grains such as oats, barley, wheat, and soybeans. It has a 7.5 to 15-inch spacing. It is driven by Kyle Cashman. That's how they plant the fields now with this big machinery. It can do about 300 acres in a day.
So here we have number 41. This is a 1956 John Deere 420. It is owned by Glenn Edwards, and it is equipped with half tracks with 2-row plate corn planter, driven by Francois Williams, who only has 5 more acres till the dance tonight.
I see you shaking your head, madam, but we're going by 41, number 41. And it says this is owned by Glenn Edwards. Right? Glenn owns the planter, and John Monroe. Oh, John Minogue. John Minogue owns the tractor. My apology, dear. My apology.
We'll blame it on the writers.
That's right. We'll blame it on the writers. Combined effort here.
This is a 420 John Deere tractor. It's a 1956. I purchased it about 15 years ago. It does come with a set of half tracks, which are like bulldozer tracks, which carry it in the soft conditions if you are out in the fields where it's very, very soft. I took them off today for the parade. I completely restored it, repainted it. My son-in-law repainted it for me, so it's been in the family for the last 15 years or so, and we're going to keep it. It's a beautiful little tractor, and we're happy to be in the parade that the Navan Group has put on for us. And we have a corn planter on the back, a 2-row corn planter. This here is a great invention. It came from a team of horses used to have a corn planter, 2-row corn planter, a disc-style corn planter. It was donated by Glenn, allowed me to put it on the back of my tractor for today. Actually, when I got it, it was in extremely rough shape. It was very, very badly worn out. I am a mechanic by trade, so it was going to be my bush tractor. The engine was smoking a little bit, so I said, well, we'll take the engine out and put a new set of rings in it. Once I got that out, we went through the transmission. It had been used so much that the fingers on the shifter were completely wore out. You could hardly shift the gears because the fingers in it were that bad. So we've basically gone through the engine, clutch, transmission, and rear end on the tractor and done the body work, get it back into shape. So quite an adventure, but it was fun. That's what it's all about. Actually, I didn't get the paint from John Deere, and I should have, because it's not quite the right color. If you put it beside a vintage tractor side by side, it's got a little too much gray in it. So I tried to save some money. Regret it ever since.
Now, take a look here. You go ahead, Rob.
Well, this is quite a piece of equipment. New tractor.
This is a corn planter here. Yep.
Craig Miller of Cumberland has his 2013 John Deere 8235R tractor and a 1790 planter. Does 12 rows of corn, 30 feet, or 23 rows of soybeans at 58 feet. Can be planted at a rate of 20 acres an hour, and it is in good condition. That is first a piece of equipment right there.
The little planter way back that the lady has, and it's progressed over the years, Rob, is this.
Then we moved down to a spike planter in between this one and mine is what they call a spike planter. It was likely up to about a 6-row planter, which was another great invention in the style. Then we get into this unit behind here. That's they call it a gear unit, and it's an 18-row planter. So you can imagine how much more land you cover in a day as compared to this little guy with my little toy tractor on it, or a team of horses. This here again was much faster than a team of horses, but no competition. It's all behind me. Years have gone.
Number 43, cultivator. John Deere cultivator, 1950 mule tractor with a 3-row corn cultivator. Corn was cultivated to control weeds before crop sprayers came along. It is owned by Cloverhurst Farms and driven by Marcel Lalonde.
And the next one coming up here is lot number 44. This is the tractor with an older sprayer on. This is Chris McWilliams here, ladies and gentlemen, with a Case MTA tractor on with Bourbon Brothers old sprayer. This is about a 1950s there. Now that is not Chris McWilliams because he's got more hair than that man, but that is Chris's tractor. So we're glad to have the man aboard.
And here you have state of the art.
State of the art. This is a 2013. It went from that sprayer to this. It's a Case 2013 Case IH 4440 crop sprayer. It has a 120-foot sprayer boom with automatic height, auto rate control, hydraulic wheel spacing, and auto GPS. It steers itself when he gets in the field. It can spray 180 acres an hour in high speed. It is owned and driven by Andre Perroff of Navan.
So now we're into mowing equipment, mowers.
Right.
And this is a horse-drawn mower, 1940 Croston Wood, number 10, made in Smith Falls. Made in Smith Falls. Don Cook is the owner.
Yes, that's a Canadian company that made that. The Croston Wood Company, back at the turn of the century, employed about 2,500 men in Smith Falls, turning out mowers and all sorts of machinery like that. And just this year, I discovered Mr. Woods' grave. It's a tomb in Smith Falls. The founder, one of the founders of this great old Canadian company.
Number 47 is a Fendt with mower, and this one is owned by the Etters family.
Yes, this is a mower that cuts your hay, and both sides and up front it just go up and down. Hay mower, disc brine, wonderful machine to cut the hay, and the men and women involved are right at it now.
Number 49 is a 3130 John Deere from Sunnymead Farm, an old tractor single bar rake.
Sunnymead Farm, that's the Cotton Boys, is that right? Yes, sir. The Cotton Brothers Corners. When you drove in here from Ottawa, right at the corner up here now, this young man, I think, is the 4th generation of farmers. 5, 3. I can't hear what he's saying. Oh, it's not cotton. Oh, he's driving it further. But anyway, there is, I think, 4 generations. And it's, oh, there he is. There he is. And he is about, how many generations of cotton are you or your son? 4, 5? 5 generations. That's known as Cotton Brothers Corners up there. And that's James Cotton. He's the number 4 on that farm. And his son is farming there actively now.
So what is that piece of equipment?
That is a wheel rake. That's a hay rake. It comes out, they call it a wheel hay rake.
All right, number 51. Roy Shearer has the wagon and hay loose hay, Adam Hay, wagon circa 1900. Horse-drawn wagon.
Roy Shearer from Spencerville, Ontario. With his load of hay. Good to see you, Roy.
Number 52, a hay press, an old tractor and a hay press, 1930s John Deere rubber wheeled hay press, owned by Glenn Edwards. On a Chris McWilliams 1940 Case R tractor, this hay press was used to bale hay coming out of the barn to sell it down in the Byward market.
That's before they had balers, Rob, to go in the fields. They put the loose hay in like you see up there ahead, and then in the wintertime to transport hay, they had a press like that, and the men would all come and feed that press and sell the hay to horsemen down in the market.
This is a hay press from the late 30s, early 40s. Deere built, they built different sizes. This is a smaller one. This is the forerunner to the baler, the baled hay. And well, that's what this does, bales hay. In those days, if a farmer had a good summer, they would, in the fall, bale the hay out of the barn into this here hay press, and it would be on a motor and a belt driven, and they would bale the hay and take it to the market in Ottawa to sell as their surplus. And there was no nodder, so when the bale got to a certain length, they put this block of wood in, and the block would follow along, and two men would feed this wire through. The wire had some loops on it here, and they'd pass the bale through, the wire through this block of wood, and he'd pass it back, and we'd tie it by hand. And like I say, that hay was taken to the market for it to be sold. Today they bale in the field and take it to the barn and use it, but at that time it was done loosely. There are a number of different models, but this is the smaller one of the ones that I have. And this is the way I bought it, yes. I've had it for a number of years. I bought a bigger one since that I was all seized and we got it loosened up, but it's on steel, but a little tough to bring down here in the parade. It's a disease. It's a sickness. That's why I have it. It's a disease. I have that John Deere bug and kind of collect that old stuff. I'm interested in it. And I belong with that group, Vintage Iron of Eastern Ontario, and there's a big group of us, 200 members actually, and this is what we do, collect this stuff and show it.
So here we have a tractor and a round baler, I believe. No, we have a
this is the square baler.
Yeah, pardon me.
No,
it's an Oliver 66, 1949, and the baler is a 1962 T model owned by John McWilliams. So that's what they look like back in the 60s.
Yeah. And now, as you'll see, the next one coming up here is number 54, is a round baler. This is Denny Pedals chrome baler with a new McCormick tractor. Just to give you an idea. And then the next one coming up is even bigger. This is a new tractor here, Ace 235. This is a brand spanking new here. And this is driven by Travis McFadden Custom Baling. And this is what we call a big square bale. Coming next along here to show you people the different type of hay bale that's made here. This is Twin Iron Tractor. It's a 1030, 1966. With small curve round So the bailers you just all went by. First one makes the small squares, the second makes the round, and the big square at the back. That's how hay baling has advanced over the years. So here we have an old tractor and an antique waiting bus. Born in 1951, all Super A. This was his original condition around 2013 by Keith, his cousin, Brian McGladry, and Keith's son, Brent. And that's Keith McGladry in the driver's side. He loves his antiques. He's got many, many pieces of his toy tractors and farm equipment.
Here we have number 58, a tractor with thrashing mill, 1950-60 ohm. Thrashing mill, brought new by Fred Hodge of Cumberland. It is a late model, one of the last built. It operated at the 2015 St. Albert World Record event with 100 thrashing mills running simultaneously. Owned and operated by Dave Williams of Cumberland, being pulled by Brent Payne's 77 Oliver. That was his grandfather, Dave Finley's.
Now, Rob, I just want to explain to you so you don't embarrass yourself on the radio if you happen to, it's no one, it could be, it looks like thrashing, but it's thrashing.
Yeah.
Thrashing. Yeah, not trashing, thrashing. All right, here we have the number 59.
59, Keith McGladry and his tractor pulling Glenn Edwards' wagon. The tractor is 1951. McCormick Standard W4, purchased new from Leonard McEwen's IH dealership in Russell by Gordon McGladry for $1,900 plus a driving horse, and was used on Gordon's farm north of Russell, restored to its original condition in 2009. Number 60 is an old combine. And is it Tiny McWilliams? Is that who's up there? International 915. 1978. And at 61, We have a newer Combine 2010 560R Lexion. Ben Backer.
Yes, this is a brand new combine here. 2010 560 Lexion by Ben Backer. Here you're looking at probably $550,000 piece of equipment in front of you here. To give you an idea, we're getting some of the newer pieces in here. Coming up next, I believe it's number 62. Is that correct? I don't see the number, but yeah, I think it is. Here we have a grain buggy. This is a case, 145 horsepower tractor pulling a grain buggy that can hold 17 tons of grain. And it comes from Remont Farms Incorporated. That's how they draw the grain, Rob, from the combine to the drying machines and what have you. Beautiful, beautiful piece of brand new equipment.
So on the trailer here, we have an empty tractor and an old corn binder owned by Gord McFadden.
And driving that tractor is Hank Backer. Hank Backer, and on the back is an old, I think it's an international corn binder. Corn binder. Used to cut the corn that years ago. And after they used to cut it like that, this is a newer machine here, lot 64, which is Scott Rathwell, his international 186 tractor. And with it, he has a 1982 harvester, 4-H harvester, pulled by a Neon 4-H box from the 1980s.
Number 65 is a new self-propelled harvester. Boy. 2006 model, New Holland FX30. Self-propelled 386 horsepower 4-H harvester owned by Morrisville Farms of Sarsfield. It's configured to chop hay and load 4-H boxes, dump wagons or trucks for transport to feed storage facilities like silos or bunkers.
This is a 2006 New Holland self-propelled 4-H harvester. It chops up hay or corn into pieces about 1 to 1.5 inches long, and it's stored in a silo after that. Back in the day, the stuff would have been cut by hand and fed into a smaller machine than this, but the same principle. This one here has the hay pickup on it, so the hay is in rows. It picks it up, chops it up through the blower, and then shoots it in this wagon. This wagon is then unloaded to a machine to blow it up in the silo, or bunker silos that are horizontally on the ground and packed manually with a tractor. So back in the day, this would be loaded with a pitchfork and unloaded with a pitchfork and fed to the cows with a pitchfork. So, way easier today and way more productive today. So we can do about 100 acres in 8-9 hours with this. So back in the day, they wouldn't even attempt 100 acres. C'est une fourragère automotrice New Holland. C'est fait pour couper le foin ou le maïs en petits morceaux de 1 pouce ou 1 pouce et demi. Maintenant, il y a le nez à foin sur la machine. Le foin est en rang. Ça ramasse le foin et ça le coupe en petits morceaux et ça le souffle dans la boîte en arrière. Puis ça, c'est mis dans un silo ou un bunk silo que pour entreposer, pour soigner aux vaches pendant l'hiver.
Now we're going back to lot number 66, and we're getting into manure management here. Starting with the old, and here we have, ladies and gentlemen, John Smith's round-driven spreader, 1928 Cockshot number 4, made in Brantford, Ontario, and were driven by Randy Kidder and his perch runs. On the business end of the shovels are the Carleton County Junior Farmers, our cleanup crew. Give them a big thanks to them all.
1950s, number 67, 1950s John Deere two-wheel ground driver, Alice Chalmers, 1956, owned by Glenn Edwards. Number 68 is an 886 with tandem new idea, owned by Hank Backer and driven by John Lowe.
Yeah, that's just the, as you move up from the old round driven spreader and the green one and then the new idea, and then move up here. And this one coming up here, ladies and gentlemen, is the Massey tractor. Wait, no. This is lot number 70, number 70. This is a brand new tractor and a liquid manure tank. This is from the Ben Munsteren Farms. They have this Ben case tractor here, ladies and gentlemen. A really, really nice machine, and this is known in the farming community as the honey wagon. If you're ever going in the field sometime by the farm, a dairy farmer especially, when he's spreading that, it sure don't smell like honey. It only lasts about 3 days. And it's seeded down, they put the fertilizer on, but the farmers call that big tanker the honey wagon.
So now we have a parade of tractors here. Cockshot, owned by Bill Tanner.
Cockshot Forfield, Bill
Not
Tanner.
sure what year around that would be.
That's about 1950. They made these Cockshot 40s from about 49 to about 53 or so. Yeah. Bill Tanner. I used to announce tractor pulls, and Bill Tanner was a very avid tractor puller and still is. Bill Tanner from Myers, Ontario.
71B is a 1946 Cub, owned and driven by Don McNeely, grandson of the original owner of this tractor.
Yes, sir. There's Don. This is like a little garden tractor. Great little tractor here for people used to draw hay rakes and what with them, but they were a great cultivator for market gardeners. 71C, go ahead.
Is David Brown, 1210, owned by Fred Van Munster.
Yes, and 71D, here we have an interesting float here. Here's a 1951 Farmall H. Was bought by Keith McGladney in the 1990s from the Metcalf Service Center, where it had been traded from northern New York. Restored in about 2001 to its original condition by Keith, his cousin Brian McGladney, and Keith's son Brent. And they got the whole family in the steel-wheeled wagon drawn behind.
71E, 1953, Minneapolis, what is it, Carson? Moline? Moline, Model U, Garrett Lowe.
They were a tractor that wasn't this popular, not popular in this area, and they quit making them about 1970. Minneapolis, Moline.
This is a 2006 New Holland 155 Lyndon Backer. Who's driving that? 71G. What is it, a Deutz?
71G, go ahead.
And Dave Schiff driving that.
Yep, that's Dave Stipe. Dave Stipe. Then we have 71 each. 71
J1H International 88.
Beautiful. International driven by Ben Backer. 71J is a Kubota MX-95, owned by Don McNeely and driven by his nephew, Darryl McNeely.
71L Heston 1180 DT tractor was bought new in 1983 from Wiggins in Winchester. 100 horsepower, owned by the Wall family. Tim McNeely is driving. Now look at this. What an amazing paint job on this. 1953 Ford Jubilee. Given by Alton Dufour, was his dad and Will's tractor when he farmed the Dufour farm where Plastor Leaves is today.
For sure, exactly. Now we have 71N. This is Robert Smith with his big tractor, the 3388 2+2. This was a big tractor in its day, ladies and gentlemen. And all the kids on here, and young ladies and gentlemen, we're going to thank you all for being here.
It's a variety of agriculture in this area, and again, it's a great community to be raised in. We're part of Ottawa now. We can tell by our tax bills and all our extra services, but Navan is still far enough away that we've got our own community spirit. And we have a great fair every year. Second weekend of August, you have to come out and check out our Navan Fair.
And we want to make a big thanks to all the volunteers and sponsors who made today possible, ladies and gentlemen. Myers Group, Heritage Funeral Home, Gentry Financial, Suntrack, ML Bradley Bus, City of Ottawa, Cumberland Township Agriculture Society, and the Navan Community Center. We want to thank you so much for coming out. Don't forget, ladies and gentlemen, at 9 o'clock, over in the fairgrounds, under the folk dome, the ever-infamous ambush will be playing there tonight. It's all free. Just donations to the local organizations are asked. So there's a free admission over there at 9 o'clock.